Hi, I'm Mike Winkler, and I'm the Principal Managing Broker for CBBain in Issaquah, Washington.
And I'm E.J. Bowles. I'm the Principal Managing Broker for CBBain on Mercer Island, Washington.
E.J., in several of our last posts, we've talked a lot about signing and closing costs and a number of issues that actually involve the physical aspect of affixing your signature or your seal to a document.
That's right.
And so now we're finally joining the rest of the country in Washington with regards to real estate officially with electronic signature. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, great subject and something we've been leading up to and should have been doing probably years ago. According to the Northwest Multiple Listing Service, an electronic signature is an electronic process to signify a person's approval of terms, conditions, or an electronic contract document. Electronic signatures ensure the integrity of a signed document by confirming the time and date of the document when it was signed, recording the Internet protocol address of the person who signed the document, and verifying that the document has not been changed since it was signed. So a broker could email a contract to their principal. That principal will sign the document electronically and send that back to the broker. So instead of physically signing it with a pen, they're going to sign electronically and email that back.
Well, and in fact, electronic signature is not new. It was authorized by Congress back in 2000, and then it was adopted with the Washington State Legislature a few years ago.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But its application has been varied, and in real estate has been limited to primarily one company. I know there's others, but primarily one company. And even then, that particular company's product wasn't designed for real estate.
Exactly.
And so we've had a slow adoption in the state of Washington. EJ, I actually was speaking to a couple brokers who are coming up from Austin, Texas recently, and everybody thinks of Western Washington, particularly the Puget Sound, because of our tech companies as being way forward in technology. And they were commenting that, in their opinion, based on their experience in Austin, Texas, of course, where Dell Computer is, that Washington real estate industry is about 3 years behind that of Texas.
I'll be darned.
And of course, I wanted to roll up my sleeves at that point.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that's fine. And the reason we are, and particularly with CBBain, is because we're very conservative and we want to make sure that we're protecting our clients. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And so, so slow adoption in Washington. In the past year, the National Association of Realtors adopted electronic signature and actually endorsed a company called DocuSign. And some brokers used DocuSign, but nothing was officially endorsed or reviewed really by the Northwest MLS until a kind of due diligence process, and AuthentiSign was the company that the Northwest MLS adopted. And now the Northwest MLS is the prevailing MLS in Washington, and so to have them actually do the review, have their attorneys do the review, and for them to adopt and endorse the product makes it much safer for our clients and therefore for our brokers and our companies, our firms to use.
That's right. The AuthentiSign integrates with the forms, the statewide forms that are produced by the Northwest Multiple Listing Service. No other product does that. And because the Northwest Multiple endorsed AuthentiSign, CBBain has now endorsed AuthentiSign to be used by all of their brokers. So we think that this will become quite widespread. Now, electronic signatures are really a tool, just another tool that's available to brokers and their clients. And it doesn't mean that most or even all transactions will be signed electronically. And one of the reasons is because there are certain limitations with the electronic signature process. Mike, let's talk about some of those.
We shall. Right off the bat, one of the limitations is that you can't use it for POA or power of attorney, as a trustee, for a business entity, or with an LLC. Mm-hmm. And so really the process can be used for personal signatures. And one of the things that has to be done, and by federal law is that the parties have to agree to use electronic signature in advance. Now, no one can be forced to use electronic signature. And in fact, we've seen in the past with the DocuSign, and we'll see with AuthentiSign, that one party is more comfortable with it than the other. So the sellers may say, yes, it's convenient for us, particularly in relocation, where although relocation has its own set of distinctions too. It may not be used with some relocation companies. They're all going to vary. But in particular, where it makes the most sense is where you have parties that are separated by geography because of the moving process. And so that is primarily, I think, the area that I'm most comfortable with. Now, it's interesting, we've had lots of discussions about electronic signature, and some people are like, well, I just want it for the convenience. And yet, I think for the benefit of clients, having that comfort of sitting with your broker and being able to ask questions as they come up before you affix your signature, because the signature, whether it's electronic or ink, have the same impact.
That's right.
Same legally binding impact. So traditional or electronic, I think that we'll see how it's going to fare out as far as which is going to be the prevailing over time.
And I think we'll see a lot of mixed use, for lack of a better term, where one party will use electronic signatures and the other party will not, will sign traditionally. That's not a problem. It can be done that way quite easily. CBBain has developed 2 new forms as a result of this rollout that's coming next week in terms of electronic signatures. One of those will be in our listing paperwork, where we will ask our seller to either approve the use of electronic signatures when someone purchases their house, or to not give that approval. And whatever the decision they make will be posted in the listing in the Northwest Multiple Listing Service, so everybody will know whether it would be appropriate to try to purchase that house using electronic signatures or not. We also have a form that a buyer would use. Mike talked about consent prior to using electronic signatures, and that's where a buyer would again state, I want to use electronic signatures. So we've created these forms to make it a little easier for buyers and sellers to decide what they want to do in the realm of electronic signatures.
One of the concerns that many have is anytime with the use of technology, you can fake. And so in this particular regard, the concern is that a party would use their spouses or significant other or partners' username and password and log on and sign for them. The reality is that companies are going to have policies. They're going to have to make sure clients understand the ramifications of that. If it were to ever be challenged, if you had a spouse in Seattle and one in Portland, for example, remember, you said this at the very beginning of the video, one of the benefits and one of the reasons that the Northwest MLS has adopted AuthentiSign is because it does actually track the individual IP. So although someone may have a username and password, the IP to that computer in that area is going to be the kind of the linchpin, if you will, for linking it for that particular signature. So faking it isn't going to really be that much of an issue, but companies' policies are going to have to be adhered to and written to account for the potential risk.
I agree, and at the end of the day, it's really just another tool that we can use, that we can hopefully benefit our buyers and our sellers in terms of helping them to buy and sell more real estate. I'm E.J. Bowles.
I'm Mike Winkler. Till next time.